Ladies and gentlemen, get up on your feet. Let's give a warm round of applause to DJ Loyd. We're going to be exchanging mics.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool. All right, welcome. And it's so good to have you, Loyd, and welcome to the Pranary Game Changer Networking event.
Thank you for having me. Big ups to you guys for coming out. I thought it was just going to be me and you, but I'm glad people came.
Brilliant. So tell us, Loyd, like just your background, like where did you grow up? What type of kid were you?
Sheesh. Interesting thing. I've got a very long story.
Yeah,
but I'm
we're here all night.
Short. Yeah. I'm a Cape Townian kid. My family's from the Eastern Cape. I've lived in 6 of the 9 provinces at one point, at some point or other. I'm one of those kids that I've experienced a lot of things. A lot of things have added to what I am now. I've lived in PE, I've lived in Klerksdorp, I've lived in East London, I've lived in Joburg, I've lived in Cape Town, but the biggest base for our family was here in Cape Town. I've lived in many, many different places, and mostly because of my parents. I had a father who was quite ambitious as well, who got the opportunity to work with in financial services. So because he was that one clever black, they would move him around a lot, you know. He was in sales, and at the time, whenever they moved you around, they'd find you a house, move your family. So we were both, I think I benefited plus was victim of that, because there's both good and bad sides to having that experience.
Yeah. And let's start like your earliest entrepreneur activities. What were those?
Funny thing is, I grew up in sports,
Okay.
right, which I think plays a major role. I was talking to Kurt outside before we got started, and how sports has shaped a lot of how I think, how I process, how I do things. My first entrepreneurial thing, I didn't even know I was being an entrepreneur actually at the time, and at the time it was illegal. I was in grade 10, and this was right before RCL. They would vote for the prefects.
Yes.
You know, and at school I was the sports guy, so I expected to be one of these people. And there was a German exchange student, a guy called Tillman, and he was like, "Yo, I'm looking for some weed." Yo, come on, Rasta, right down the corner, I'll get you some. And I bought it for $20. He paid me 100 rand. I was like, what? Long story short, I got into a lot of trouble for that, but that was my first entrepreneurial experience.
Excellent. All right, and then tell us now about your getting into music. How did that start? And then how did you grow to be so big in the industry?
Do you know what's so crazy? So they play open cards with you guys. So myself and Vinny have been working on everything that we're building right now, and obviously there's a personal brand that you work on as well. So there was a lady that I was working with who was helping me put together my brand new press kit, and in there she put all of these things that I am, right? And she put music producer there. I was like, but no, I'm not. I'm not a music producer. But the craziest thing, since then, I guess that's how the universe works. I was blessed enough to be approached by an artist from here in Cape Town, a guy called Bravo LaRue. He's just today, and in fact, after 5 days, we've just hit 600,000 streams across all platforms.
Wow.
And that's my first producer role that I've ever played on a project. So yeah, I guess I am a music producer now.
Fantastic. Great. My son makes it, the music is put it on Spotify, so I tell him now I'm sitting with a producer right now. Yes. He's just starting out, he's 16, so he needs people like you. Now, and then you're working with Black Canvas, and you and Vincent, those of you who want to watch Vincent's story. It's on YouTube as well. I hosted him at Startup Grind.
Right now.
He's an incredible guy as well.
Yeah.
But then they've got a company together. You've got Black Canvas.
Yeah.
Tell us about the starting of Black Canvas and also what Black Canvas does, and the journey so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys an interesting story. Like when I walked in here earlier on, it felt a little bit of a throwback because Blank Canvas actually started here in this building.
Wow.
Right? So we, at the time, I mean, Blank Canvas itself, I was in the shower one day and I was trying to come up with ideas and I was like, yeah, I need to start from a blank canvas. I need to start from a blank. It's like, oh, that's a cool name. I went the same day, said to Vinny, yo, I've got this name. I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but like, let's just register it. That was 2013.
Oh.
Fast forward 2015, there was an agency right across the corner. Right across from here, at the Icon building. They also had offices here on the 9th floor. And they approached us and they were pitching for the city of Cape Town at the time. Yeah. And they were looking for people that could help them really, I guess, be in touch with the heart of what the city is doing. Long story short, we formed a partnership with them. Yeah. And day one of Blank Canvas was on the 9th floor here at Touchstone Building. Wow. They still send us letters downstairs, funny enough. And when they were opening this space, we were one of the first people to come and see it before they did all of the revamps, before everything was happening here. So that's where Blank Canvas started. And all we wanted to do really was create the space where young black people can thrive. You know, we come from the backgrounds that we come from, not being given any sort of opportunities, and we've built these spaces for ourselves where our communities come. Yeah. And so with Blank Canvas, it was basically our answer to when brands come to us. We got a lot of brands when we started throwing our events coming to us saying, okay, we see that you guys get how to speak to your audience and how to help us get to this audience. How can you help us frame our strategies and everything that we have to do? And that's how Blank Canvas started. But the main thing was, okay, we're going to talk to brands, but if we're going to talk our real language, everyone around solving the problem must come from the problem. So everyone at some point we had 25 staff. All of our 25 staff came from disadvantaged backgrounds, just like us. Most people didn't even know how to do their jobs. And we were like, this is how we're going to teach each other to do the job while on the job. Lots of sleepless nights, a lot of pain, but it was the right thing to do, and that's what Blank Canvas has been all about. We still work with brands till today, helping them put together like strategies and things for them to be relevant within culture.
And I think that's something that you've done very well, because I know of I won't mention the name, but some of the big companies where they say, we want to develop a stock pro product for, and then the people developing the stock pro product don't have any stock pros, they don't know what they're talking about. And then also there was one which had shoes. They're saying we want people in the township to use it, to be buying these shoes. But they only had one person in the meeting, and he was quiet. And then we said, what do you think? He says, nobody's buying these shoes because these shoes are shit. What? No, if you look at what I'm doing, from where I need to walk to get to the taxi and do this, I can't wear these shoes. Oh, okay, now let's listen to you, right? But you've done that. Tell us about some of the activations and some of the things that you've done, which are different compared to if somebody was doing them without obviously just giving everything, but
I think the main difference with us is, I say this all the time, like you're using that example, back then when we started, I guess it still happens, there's always that one black person in the office that leads the insight, but I'll see it, but I always say there's 50 shades of black. There's literally 50 shades of black. My black is not the same as someone else's. My experiences, the things that I've seen, they're so different, And so I think that's why for us it was the best way that we are going to build these solutions for brands is by having the balls to build our own things, So our first exploit actually was Ikase Experience. It's only, and funny enough, I'm only finding out mostly now the impact that Ikase Experience had 10 years ago. where 90% of the businesses that exist now in Cape Town within popular culture were actually born at Ikasi Experience. Like I can mention names like the young cats from Broke.
Yeah.
They're amazing. If you know, I don't know if you know Broke, where they met at Ikasi Experience. K-Easy, one of the dopest presenters out of our city, his first gig was at Ikasi Experience.
Wow.
You know, and at the time we were just throwing a party, trying to show the scene and trying to show, I guess, boardrooms that young black kids can build their own things and they can make sense.
Yeah.
And you don't need to tell us how to do it. We can show you how you can do it with us. You know? So we've been blessed enough to build a lot of things. So like I said, Ikasi Experience. Our latest exploit now is a festival called Community.
Yeah.
And that also actually speaks to the same thing. We've always been aligned to like the purpose of what we're trying to do. It's like, how can you make the scene better?
Yeah.
How can you make other people's lives better?
Yeah. Is it the one at
Old Biscuit Mill? Well, we're everywhere. We
Okay.
started at Old Biscuit Mill.
Yeah.
We've now, like as a business, started taking a risk and moving to different places, because the whole concept of it is that it's an inner city youth festival. We want to shine a light on youth business, youth music, youth clothing, youth food. And so that means we need to be able to go into different spaces.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot on the fly. We're learning how difficult it is as a young black kid to do an event in the city is. But what we do is break doors so that we can make it easier for the next guy.
Fantastic. That's amazing. So what advice would you have for somebody who is like living in Ikasi and said like, I want to start, what would you say to them? And then with that, like, what are some of the mistakes people make that you see?
Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna preach or act like I know. Like right now, with everything that's going on, to answer the question directly, with everything that's going on in Ikasi, I have no idea. I cannot relate to everything that's going on now, because now like crime is hectic. You've got nursery schools paying protection fees. You've got like there's just so much going on, you know, like that. In as much as it was hard for us coming up, there's different elements now, you know, and it would be unfair of me to speak as if I know everything that's going on, or I can just give you a solution. But I can give you a solution from an entrepreneur that just wants to generally make it, you know, like for me, like if you're not willing to bet on yourself, no one else is going to. I'm finding that a lot of us are asking for help and not asking to add value. You know, like you go to people, you're like, yeah, like, hey bro, I've got this idea and I need to do this and can you help me? I've got 1,001 things I've got to do too. I'm also trying to figure this thing out, you know. I didn't wake up one day and someone was like, yeah, Loyd, here's a user manual for this thing. I don't know. Like, we challenge each other every day with the work that we do, because we're also trying to learn, you know. So I'd say, one, if you're willing to build it and create it and see it happen, be willing to back yourself first and foremost, you know. Secondly, add value. Don't ask for help. You know. Thirdly, like I didn't understand this fully until COVID happened. But your biggest loss can be your biggest win. It really can. When COVID happened, we were about to make some crazy loot, right? I was even planning like, okay, this year, Mercedes GT, right? And then COVID came. At the time, we were doing a festival for sports scene called Capsule Fest, booking international artists, entertaining 30 brands, 5,000 people in Joburg. We had broken out completely out of Cape Town. We were doing events for Capitec all over the country. And then COVID came. And suddenly it was all gone. You know, we had 25, we were right here, like on Loop Street. 25 staff. And the crazy thing that we tried to do was like, because we were like so locked into our vision, we went a whole year, right? I don't know if this was the smartest thing we've ever done or the dumbest thing that we've ever done. But everyone, when COVID started, was like, we're closing shop. It was the biggest excuse for anybody, right? If your business was failing and you knew it was failing already, you just say, yes, COVID killed me, right? And it was the best excuse ever, and everyone would accept it. And then when COVID started, obviously our deal flow went dry completely because we were in the eventing and digital space. And then digital for us was very much like dependent on the eventing space, you know? And then we went a whole year, took our own personal savings and continued to pay our staff. Because we couldn't reconcile for us it wasn't 25 staff, it was 25 families. You know, and we're like, hey, there's still a bit of money in the bank. This thing's gonna turn around. Because now we're still holding on. Cyril said 21 days.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, well,
the time of the
yeah. We're like, this is gonna be 21 days. It's gonna blow over. We'll be back. And suddenly, 21 days became a year, 2 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All the clients were like, the clients as well were drying up. They were like, no, we've changed our direction. But we invested in our people, you know, and we went for a whole year, and then we realized, hey, we can't do this anymore because even personal funds dried up completely. But I guess in a very long-winded way, in answering your question, it's like, for us, I think a lot of why we're here is because we've been willing to bet on ourselves.
Yeah, brilliant. Great. And then, how do you get to work with big brands? You've worked with lots of brands. Like, how do you deal with corporate? Because sometimes people want corporate to work like individuals. Like, I send you one email, one phone call, done. Right? And then this is my proposal, the same way you send it, done. Yeah. Tell us about your experience working with corporate.
I guess there's two sides to it. Sorry. There's two sides to it. There's the first side where, whilst corporate is corporate is still operated by people, right? And I guess that's also something that I'm learning a lot, you know, that it's individuals who all have a mandate or something that they have to do. If you make peace with the fact that most people are on an upward mobile kind of scale. So say I meet Sandras is the brand manager of Heineken. If Sandras is a smart person, in 2 years he's going to be the marketing manager or the marketing director, right? So if I build my relationship with him now, in a true sense, when he grows up within these ranks, he's likely to call me back and be like, you know what, I've got a little bit more power now than I had 2 years ago. You know, so there's that side of it. So I think people tend to be like, I'm gonna put together a proposal, it's gonna be the best proposal ever. Yes, that's cool. But like, this is people to people, you know? Yeah. And sometimes the people, even though they're in corporate, they're trying to climb the ladder. So how are you actually helping me climb the ladder, you know? Then there's the other side, you know, which I also believe in is like we, and I guess it's a general thing, and I was talking about it earlier on today, funny enough, like we live in an age of attention. Yeah. Everyone wants attention. Everybody, like it's either you're on Instagram, I hope I don't offend anyone. Either on Instagram showing your ass, right? Yeah. That's gonna get your attention. Or you've got money, you're doing the money call, or you're in the club, or you're just living lifestyle, right? But it's for attention, right? Yeah. Or, which is something that I really, really strive for, is when you get that attention, it's when you're exceptional at what you do. Like, look at the guys, like Lionel Messi is not a cool guy by any means, but he's exceptional at what he does. So you're going to go on his profile, LeBron James, I can name a lot of people, right? So I think for us, we've tried to strike this balance of be one with the people, but like deliver on the work.
That's brilliant. Excellent. You can't build a reputation on intention. Yeah. So a lot of people like to just talk a big game. Yeah. And then don't deliver. Yeah. We at Pranary, we get, so you can imagine like running a practical business school and getting people funded, the type of proposals I get. Like last 2 days ago, somebody sent me this proposal for 90 billion rand. Right? And like, what have you done on it? Oh, nothing.
Look, I just want a billion. Can you help me?
Exactly. Like, just I want to raise 90 billion. Yeah. Please, have you raised 90 rand? Have you made 900, 9,000? So exactly what you're saying. That betting on yourself and showing that what you've done. That's critical, right? Okay, we're gonna take questions from the audience. So start preparing your questions. And what do you believe? What would you say now to brands or people in corporate who want to like just have a different type of impact, and they got the money, they got the power, but they don't know how to really make a big difference? What would you say? How can they achieve some of the things that you've noticed?
Yo, look. So this is a tough one. It's a tough one because you see the thing is then. The thing about these sort of answers is that I just want to precursor it, right? Like, I believe that I'm really good at what I do, right?
Yeah.
And the things that work for me might not work for you, right? But you can take what I say and apply it as you see fit, you know? I think that first and foremost, if you're a brand person or a brand, your first intent should be connecting with people, you know? And however you get to connecting with people should be just a byproduct, you know? We find ourselves a lot of the times where we go to brand people and we pitch them on a concept of something. They get so locked into the execution of what that thing is that they forget that people, like, your moods and your preferences change all the time. So I would say that if you're a brand and wanting to connect with people, you got to be able to move with the people, you know? Like, we're learning this of community now. Like, community is a festival. We try and attract like 2,000 kids, but it's not about 2,000 people. It's about how we affect the community that comes to community, you know? So if you're a brand and we decide, you know what, today, the best day that we are going to connect with our community in winter is to bring them together at Africa Works, 500 people, we're all gonna have coffee and chat. But brands, the moment you take them out of their comfort zone, it's like you rescinded on the promise. So I would say be flexible if you're a brand person, you know, move with the culture. The culture moves every day.
Yeah.
I used to see myself as a brand person a lot as well, you know, because I've been lucky enough in my whole career to work with different brands from the age of 16. Funny enough, when you were sharing your story, we've got a lot of similarities. My big turning point as well when was my mom passed away. This is my 20th year, you know, and ironically, the reason I said yes to this interview is because her birthday was yesterday. So I was like, this would be dope to do something the day after, right? And the main thing for me has always been like, how do you move with culture? And moving with culture, you've got to recognize that it moves every day, right? And something different is being birthed every day. So if I'm a brand, I want to stay connected, I need to find a way to understand that this thing is evolving every day, you know? I used to, 2 years ago, one of my big changes as well, it was something small for someone else, but huge for me, right? I used to drive around in a car during COVID a little bit, right? And at some point I realized, like, okay, I have this car, it's sitting in the garage, I'm paying all this money for it, and I'm driving, cool, it's convenience, but I'm not getting to meet anyone, right? I was like, okay, sell this thing, and every day now, I leave my house, I live right here in the city, I leave my house and I walk around everywhere. I average about 20,000 steps a day. Right?
Excellent.
And every day I meet like 10, 20 people, right? And that's culture for me, especially in Cape Town, which is like the richest melting pot of culture. Like, we are the source. We genuinely are the source. So I would say if I were to give advice to brands, that's the main one and the only one. Like, if you want to be in culture or if you want to affect people for real, understand what the true problem is. And the only way you can understand is by staying connected to people. You know?
Fantastic. Great. Brilliant. All right, we'll take questions. Question 1.
What do you do to keep up with the demands of a good network?
Okay. So there's 2 things that I do. It's crazy, like I started working in media when I was 19 years old. And every day I would meet different people from different places. And I've been blessed enough, I guess, to meet like some really, really talented people. So I guess one, in keeping up with my network, I've always found people that inspire me and found a way to stay connected to them and learn through them, whether it's directly or indirectly. The second thing is keeping myself in circles of people that attract amazing people. I'm blessed enough to have a business partner who loves talking, loves being out, he just loves that thing, eh? You know? And then all I do is I focus on the product, you know? Like I said, like I never want to be one of those people who promises you that we're going to Mars, can't you say Kaidicha? You know? That's me. And that's what's helped me, you know? Like I've really just stayed connected to people who are connectors, who are less shy than I am. I guess through working in media, working behind the mic, working on TV, working on all these different mediums, people immediately think that this guy is a socialite. And I'm the shyest person that you can ever find. I'm when I walk past people, I'm like, what am I gonna say, you know? But I'm learning now through the people that I connect myself to that you gotta make yourself uncomfortable, meet a couple of people. You don't know what it could turn into, you know? And like I said, that's why I got rid of the car, you know, because I was like, I need to walk and be amongst people. But the thing that's really kept me fresh as well is connecting myself to fresh people.
A big hand for Loyd, please.